Israel amassed tanks and armored vehicles along the Gaza Strip on Thursday, with the Ministry of Defense giving the green light to the army to mobilize 9,000 reservists. Sahal bombed Hamas targets the entire night. The movement fired hundreds of rockets in response. The actual victims of the violence are Palestinian civilians, who suffer the most from these strikes. At least 103 Palestinians were killed and 621 wounded. Hundreds more fled their homes yesterday evening, according to witnesses on the ground. In contrast, Gaza authorities report only 7 deaths on Israeli territory. Several African nations, including Sudan, Egypt, Morocco, and Algeria, have already condemned the disproportionately murderous response by the Israeli forces to Gaza's initial attack, triggered by unrest at Jerusalem's Al-Aqsa Mosque, and now so is Senegal. This is a time to pray for peace in the world, peace in Palestine and Israel, and we take this opportunity to call for de-escalation so that peace may return and healthy and serene discussions may be initiated between these two communities in accordance with international law. In addition, hundreds of Kenyan Muslims gathered in Nairobi in show of their support for Palestinians. They decried the reportedly most intense hostilities in 7 years between Israel and Gaza's armed groups.
We are here today because an injustice anywhere in the world is an injustice everywhere in the world. We want to tell our government to end all diplomatic ties because Israel is oppressing the poor, the weak, the marginalized. And we are telling our government, the government of Kenya, we are a peace beacon in East Africa and Africa. Yes. We cannot associate ourselves with an oppressive regime. Yes. And we are telling the whole world, the UN and everyone, free, free Palestine, free, free Palestine.
The protests were later dispersed by anti-riot police using tear gas on the impassioned activists. Elsewhere in South Africa, Chief Mandla Mandela, on behalf of the ruling African National Congress Party, quoted his iconic grandfather, Nelson, "Our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinian people." Muslims in Libya, after performing Eid al-Fitr prayers, also organized a rally in support of Palestinians on Tripoli's Martyr Square. As many Muslims and non-Muslims worldwide in the international community publicly condemn Israel's bombardment of Gaza and call for peace on behalf of the Palestinian people.